Yo, Pierre, you wanna come on?
Ice up. Ice what?
Whoa, whoa, baby, poke it out, poke it out, poke it out, baby, poke it out.
Hey everybody, so on my last video I got a ton of requests to do a schedule prediction for this season, so today it's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be predicting all 16 games, so let's hop into that. So in week 1 we have a matchup that is in our division. It's versus the Buccaneers in New Orleans. Now, I see this as a very easy and very winnable game for the Saints. We shouldn't have much of a problem beating them without Jameis Winston in our house. So, I'm going to give us a W there to make our record 1-0. After week 1, we head into week 2, and that is versus the Browns in New Orleans. Now, like I said before with the Buccaneers, this is a very easy and very winnable game. I feel like the Saints should have no problem beating the Browns in our own house. They just don't have enough firepower to match up with us. Defensively, they're lacking. So I can see the Saints breezing past the Browns and the Buccaneers to have an easy 2-0 start. And they're both home games. So, like, yeah, 2 dubs. So after defeating the Cleveland Browns in week 2, we'll be moving on to week 3, which is our first away opponent, and we'll be traveling to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Now, I want to say this is a game we can win, which it is. We can win it, but I don't think we are. The Falcons are a very tough team, and on the road they're pretty good. So we'll be going to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I see us losing this game, but we'll see how it goes. So with that, I have our record at 2-1 heading into week 4. Now that we took our first loss to the Falcons, we'll be heading into week 4 against the New York Giants in New York. This is just a bad matchup for the Giants. They don't have enough talent to defeat us. I feel like it's going to be an easy game for us. Like, I'm talking like a two-score win on the Saints end. So we'll be moving to 3-1 heading into week 5. So yeah. Now we're moving on to week 5, and it's the Saints versus Redskins in New Orleans. I don't see us losing many home games this year, and the Redskins, if we were to lose a home game, they definitely wouldn't be the team I'd pick. I see us beating them with a pretty sizable margin. I feel like they got a bad end of the stick with the whole Kirk Cousins, Alex Smith deal. I don't see Alex Smith as a threat. He has a noodle arm. He isn't going to do much against our defense, and just the Redskins are going to be bad next year, and we should have an easy dub moving into week 6 with a 4-1 record. So yeah. Oh wait. Disclaimer: week 6 is our bye week. We'll be moving into week 7 with a 4-1 record. My bad. Now that we've defended the dome and beaten the Redskins at our house in week 5, we'll be moving on to week 7 after the bye week against the Ravens in Baltimore. Now, the Ravens are the only team in the NFL that Drew Brees has not successfully beaten, but I feel like this year will be different. I feel like we should get a pretty easy dub against the Ravens. They are not that talented of a team. Joe Flacco is an elite. They just don't have a lot of talent that could compete with us, so I don't know, man. I see us heading into week 8 with a 5-1 record. The Ravens aren't a threat to me, and that's for sure. After successfully beating the Ravens in Baltimore, the Saints move on to week 8 against the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. Now, I can really see this game going anyway, but we have too much heart and too much passion to take an L. I genuinely cannot see. I don't want to see us losing to the Vikings in week 8. I want to see this as our redemption game. You know, like, hey, y'all took us out of the playoffs last year, but guess what? We're here to spoil y'all hopes. So I see us winning this game, but it's going to be really close. So after beating the Vikings in Minnesota, I see us moving into week 9 with a 6-1 record. After hopefully beating the Vikings, we go back home in week 9 against the Los Angeles Rams. Now, if you guys look at the Rams roster on paper, it's basically a Pro Bowl team. It's disgustingly stacked, and if I were to hand the Saints an L anywhere, it would have to be here. It's just realistic. I mean, the Rams, if everything works out how it's supposed to, if everything goes well, if their team plays like it should on paper, then we will have a really tough time beating them. It's either going to be, I feel like it's going to be a close loss to the Rams. So we will be moving into week 10 with a 6-2 record. I wouldn't feel right handing us an L to anybody else but the Rams. I mean, come on, dude. They're stacked. So, yeah, moving into Week 10 with a 6-2 record. Let's go. Week 10, we play the Bengals in Cincinnati. I don't need to do much explaining on this one. The Bengals are trash. We should have a very easy win and move into Week 11 with a 7-2 record. I just don't see us losing to the Bengals, and yeah, that's that. Alright, so Week 11, we play the Eagles in New Orleans. Sheesh. I see us winning this game just for the fact that we are at home and that the Superdome is one of the hardest places to play in the NFL. Nothing against the Eagles. They're going to probably come close to defending their championship. They're a really good team. I just feel like the Saints' home field advantage will give and push them into Week 12 with a really pretty 8-2 record. After beating the Eagles in Week 11, we move on to a game at home that I feel like we're going to win. We play the Falcons in New Orleans. We're going to split the series with them. An L in Week 3, a W in Week 12. That's just how it's going to be. We should have a pretty sizable win against the Falcons. I mean, in New Orleans, they're basically another Cleveland Browns. I mean, y'all seen how they played last year. We just threw them around and babied them, boys. So we should have an easy dub in New Orleans, advancing our record to 9-2. So, yeah. Now, here's a game that I'm pretty unsure about calling. It's the Week 13 game against the Dallas Cowboys at the AT&T Stadium. I mean, I can see this going either way, but I just don't know how the Cowboys are going to be next year, and I can't have the Saints going like 14-2. So I'm going to hand us an L here just because the presence of Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. I feel like they can catch us on an off day at their house. I mean, yeah, it's not any team can show up on any given Sunday, so I feel like the Cowboys could take the best of us while we're riding high on like a 3-game win streak. So, yeah. After losing to the Cowboys in Week 13, that puts our record at 9-3. So going into Week 14, taking a trip to Tampa Bay and playing the Buccaneers at their house, that doesn't matter to me. I don't care about. Nobody's scared of Tampa Bay's home field advantage. They're just, if they're anything like they were last year, they're just going to be a mediocre, low-end, just terrible team. So we shouldn't have that much trouble sweeping them. They're the only team in the division that I can see us realistically sweeping. So yeah, that advances our record to 10-3. After that Week 14 dub against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I see us moving into Week 15 against the Carolina Panthers and losing the game in Carolina. I just feel like they're able to snag one from us on the road. It's Carolina. I see us splitting the division with them because they play their divisional opponents tough. I have a lot of respect for the Panthers. They're not my most hated team in the NFC South, and I can see us losing to them once. So I don't think it's going to be like last year with that whole 3-0, 2-0 sweep, all that nonsense. I feel like they're going to get us once this year because I feel like they're going to be a better team than they were last year because Cam has a couple of receivers now, so it should be interesting to watch. So yeah, we move into Week 16 with a 10-4 record. So after Week 15, we move into Week 16 against the Pittsburgh Steelers in New Orleans. This is going to be an amazing game. It's going to be Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram versus Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, and Juju Smith-Schuster. It's going to be crazy. I feel like it's going to be a high-scoring game with a lot of offense involved. But it's in New Orleans, and like I said, the Superdome home field advantage is no joke. So I see that benefiting us and giving us the edge to propel us over the Steelers. You know, we're going to have a slight 11-4 record after this game, so we'll be moving into Week 17 sitting pretty at 11-4. After beating the Steelers in Week 16, I see the Saints moving into Week 17, high with pride, beating the Carolina Panthers at home, closing it out in a blowout win, closing the season out in a blowout win. I don't see the Panthers standing any chance. We're going to be too high on ourselves. It's going to be too late in the season. It's going to be too deep in New Orleans. They're not going to be able to overcome the crowd. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a fun game to watch. We're going to catch a dub, and we're going to finish the season with a 12-4 record. So that's all I have for today. Those are my 2018 season predictions. Comment below what y'all think about them. I mean, they're a little bit different than most people's, but I don't like being cookie cutter. That's not me. So if you liked what you've seen here, just click that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, whatever. Sorry I made most of the explanation short. I don't want to have a 20-minute video because not a lot of people have the time to sit through 20-minute videos, so I tried to make this as short as possible. So I'll see y'all in the next one, and adios.
Dykes is on the beat.